Michael Reeves, you might know him as Boy Jerry, a motivational speaker with a quirky sense of humor, but behind the laughter lies a story of injustice, a story that unveils the dark underbelly of power and corruption. This is the story of Michael Reeves, caught in the crosshairs of the NYPD and NY-ICE, a story that demands our attention. Michael's ordeal began on a day like any other. Imagine being yanked out of your bed, slapped in handcuffs, and tossed into a cell for something that never even happened. Yep, that was Michael. Got released the next day with the authorities admitting it was just an error. But guess what? They seized his cell phone and left him with a felony arrest record, just to give ICE a reason to detain him. For Michael, normalcy was shattered. This was a deliberate act of harassment fueled by prejudice, an effort by immigration authorities to interrupt two ongoing settlement mediations and not pay Michael a dime. The trauma, the fear, the sense of utter helplessness, these are scars that run deep. Michael's story is not an isolated incident, it is a stark reminder of the systemic issues plaguing our justice system. What Michael describes as NYPD systematic arrest of black people for just about anything and everything. A total disregard for the cascading consequences of the arrest, particularly on the life of an innocent person. Michael's day began like any other, filled with the familiar hum of his latest project. As he laid in bed asleep, a sense of unease crept in. Unmarked cars circled his block, their occupants eyeing his home. He brushed it off until the pounding on his door shook him.
What's going on? I haven't done anything wrong.
His home was swarmed by officers, their weapons drawn. The accusations were absurd. Attempted rape.
You're under arrest for suspected attempted rape. He underwent a pat-down of his genital areas. He was placed into handcuffs and hauled away to the Brooklyn's Special Victims Unit, an elite division of NYPD that deals with high-level sex crimes. He was subjected to hours of grueling interrogation, his requests for a lawyer ignored. He was then booked in and fingerprinted. He was placed into a holding cell to see a judge that would determine if Michael was going back home or to Rikers Island.
Got released the next day with the authorities admitting it was just an error. But guess what? They seized his cell phone and left him with a felony arrest record, just to give ICE a reason to detain him. Currently, he is in a settlement mediation with NY-ICE, but it looks like they'd rather team up with the NYPD to stage a bogus arrest to try to deport him than just settle with an innocent black man. Seriously, it's like a plot twist Michael didn't sign up for. Michael was dragged from his home, his pleas ignored. The physical wounds may have healed, but the psychological scars remain. On June 25, 2018, Michael was brutally beaten by NY-ICE at the height of the Trump's immigration raids, even though he did not resist arrest. His right shoulder was broken by one of the agents who slammed his knees onto Michael's back as Michael was laying on the ground face down. He had not one but two surgeries. Michael won his immigration case in 2019. He sued NY-ICE. The federal judges in both cases have ordered the cases into settlement mediation. The men retaliated. They moved into his building. They followed him. They harassed him all night. They tortured with an unknown energy device. Michael tried to protect himself and installed aluminum foil, but it failed. He finally fled his home. The men followed him from hotels to hotels in New Jersey. Michael finally filed a police report in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and he discovered that the men were NY-ICE agents. The fear, the anxiety, the constant looking over his shoulder, these are the invisible shackles that bind Michael.
I can't sleep. I'm living in my car from truck stops to truck stops. Michael asked for protection from U.S. Magistrate Judge Marcia Henry and is waiting on a decision. Meanwhile, they followed Michael to two truck stops where he was living in his car. He had to flee from the men. These days, Michael is living with no sleep. Michael said to me, "Every time I close my eyes, I see their faces. I hear their voices. I can't go home. My home is not safe anymore."
His once vibrant spirit now flickers with a fragility born of trauma. Sleep offers no escape, haunted by nightmares of the past 26 years of his life that has been destroyed by immigration authorities. Michael has been arrested 5 times by immigration authorities. Michael is 54 years old. He has not been in trouble since he was 19 years old. The faces of his tormentors, etched into his memory, resurface in the darkness. His safe space, his home, now a constant reminder of the violation he endured. The ordeal has taken its toll on Michael's life, his passion for his work now a distant memory. The joy he once found in working hard to earn an honest living and a piece of the American pie has been replaced by a bone-deep exhaustion. The system meant to protect has failed him. leaving him stripped of his sense of security and his trust in those meant to uphold the law. The system protects its own. The details of Michael's ordeal are not isolated incidents. They are part of a larger, more disturbing pattern of misconduct by both the NYPD and NY-ICE. These agencies, entrusted with upholding the law, have instead chosen to operate with impunity, targeting individuals based on bias rather than evidence. Where is the accountability? Where is the outrage? The system designed to protect the innocent has become a shield for the very people who abuse their power. The lack of transparency, the silencing of victims, the blatant disregard for human rights, these are not oversights, they are standard operating procedure. Michael's case, like countless others, has been met with silence, swept under the rug by those in power. The evidence, clear as day, is ignored, dismissed as collateral damage in the name of maintaining the status quo. The message is clear: some lives matter less. Their stories deemed inconvenient truths in a narrative carefully crafted to protect the powerful. We cannot let Michael's story become just another statistic, another example of justice denied. Now is the time to turn our outrage into action. We must demand accountability, transparency, and an end to the systemic corruption that plagues our law enforcement agencies. This is not just about Michael, it's about every individual who has been unjustly targeted, every voice silenced, every life irrevocably altered by a system that has lost its way. We must stand together, united in our demand for justice, for a future where everyone, regardless of their background, can live without fear.
Sign the petition, make your voice heard, demand a full and impartial investigation into Michael's case.
Let us send a clear message. We will not tolerate injustice. We will not be silenced. We will fight for a better tomorrow.
Michael's story is a stark reminder of the work that still needs to be done, but it is also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the unwavering belief in a better tomorrow. The fight for justice is long, arduous, and often fraught with setbacks. Yet, it is a fight we cannot afford to abandon. For Michael and for all victims of injustice, we must continue to push forward, to demand better, to hold those in power accountable. We must never allow ourselves to become desensitized to the suffering of others, to accept injustice as the norm. Hope, though tested, must remain. The pursuit of justice requires unwavering dedication, an unyielding belief in the power of truth, and the courage to speak truth to power. The path ahead may be long, but we must never lose sight of the horizon, of the promise of a brighter, fairer tomorrow.